Hey, what's up everybody, erivera94 bringing you my top 10 Marvel Legend action figures of 2017. Let's get on to it. These are my top 10 figures. You guys are seeing it all here right now. I will let you guys know the order from 10 to 1, which ones are my blacklist, 10 being my least favorite and 1 being my absolute favorite Marvel Legend of 2017. Of course, number 10 is still good because this is my top 10, so 10 is still among the 10 figures that I love from 2017. Alright, so before we get into it, I want to show you guys the runner-ups. I do have a good chunk of Legends that almost made it to the list, and if this was top 20, they would definitely be on it. And here we have my runner-ups of 2017. These are well worth the mention. Gamora and Mantis making it to the new amazing digital face prints on their head sculpts, making it look so screen accurate, it's scary. Hasbro then produced yet another awesome Cyclops figure for the 2-pack Twister exclusive, and the Flaming Torch Walgreens exclusive was another great addition to our Fantastic Four. The Black Panther Walmart exclusive was pretty much a remake or reissue of the original Black Panther from the Return of Marvel Legends wave, but it is painted differently. He comes with a cape and a spear. The Colossus figure was just as popular as Cyclops. It's a great figure with good articulation and sculpt overall. Alright, so let's get right to it. My number 10 on my top 10 Marvel Legend list has to go to Spider-Man 2099 over there in the back right corner. This figure to me was just a surprise. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I'm not a big fan of the suit. I'll be honest, I only like Spider-Man in his red-blue Spidey suit that we all know and love. So when I saw this or any other, fancy, weird Spider-Man suits that I know they are canon, they are part of the comic stories, but still, everyone has their preference. When Hasbro released this figure, it was tough to come by, and when I finally found one in the wild, I certainly saw why it was hard to come by. The articulation on the figure is great, as it should be, and the paint is even better. That is one of the reasons why I really like this figure, and the new sculpt. I believe this was among the first figures to use this new sculpt, this body mold, I guess you could say, and the paint was just fantastic. As you can see how clean it is on the torso. That metallic red and white just looks so great. Overall, this figure really caught my interest, and I really liked it more than I ever thought I would. So this is why it deserves my number 10 spot on my top 10. Going on to number 9 on my list, I'm gonna have to give it to the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure. Man-Thing is sporting a brand new sculpt that we've never seen before. Painted beautifully and sculpted beautifully. I mean, this is just a beauty to look at. Ironically, being an ugly creature as he is, and it's one of my more favorite build figures from Hasbro. Tiny details like mushrooms growing off his leg right there, and seeing leaves on his waist right there. I like it a lot, and I like how they added different color schemes to his paint deco, not just a flat green all around. They put some shading, they put some darker green, some blue, some black. Very good paint overall. They even painted the nails. Articulation is as you would expect for any Marvel Legends, and seeing how most of the Build-A-Figures coming out recently have been regular size to even smaller, it's very nice seeing a bulkier, bigger Build-A-Figure made. There is that mysterious peg hole on his back, leading most collectors to believe that they had planned a separate attachment to peg onto his back, like maybe some moss or some leaves or some branches, I don't know, something to add on to him. It's too sad that that never came out. This is why Man-Thing deserves my number 9 spot on my top 10 list. Going down to my number 8 spot, I'm gonna have to give it to Submariner or Submariner. Not sure how most people pronounce it. I say Submariner. Anyway, Submariner is one of the most recent releases coming from the Black Panther wave, and he really made this wave that much better to collect. This figure is sculpted very nice. It's very simple, just a naked man pretty much, but this is something we don't really see much from Hasbro and Marvel Legends, so it's really nice to see a figure like this, and they did a really good job. Only wish that they would have added some paint onto his trident. I like the sculpt, I like seeing all the details there, but just a solid color. I hate when they do that for anything. So that goes back to the Man-Thing. What if they just gave him a solid color or just 2 colors. They gave him multiple colors. I know it's just a Trident, but you know, just some color would have been nice. But overall, I'm really happy with this figure and his articulation. I always like when they add shin swivels on figures. That just makes it so much easier to pose him flat-footed. I do prefer the bearded look over the non-bearded look, and I'm very happy that it gives you those 2 options. The hair sculpted nice, everything's so nice. I like how Hasbro's giving us new head sculpts almost every time they release a figure nowadays. They really are doing a great job, and this is an example. Submariner hits my number 8 spot. Moving on down to my number 7 spot, we're gonna have to give it to Old Man Logan. Old Man Logan was part of the X-Men Warlock Build-A-Figure wave. It came out in the beginning of 2017, and what a wave that was, full of amazing figures, and one of the most hunted down waves I remember. And he came with no Build-A-Figure piece or accessories. Pretty steep, but it is Old Man Logan, and we've never really gotten Old Man Logan from Marvel Legends before, at least from Hasbro. I like how they sculpted his jacket, his face, everything about the figure is nice. His height, his scale is perfect for Wolverine. We got the claws that we all know and love. If only they were metallic, it'd be that much better. His face sculpt is one of the main reasons why this figure is so good. They did such an amazing job, as Hasbro has done all year long with head sculpts. They're just doing great. I'm very happy with Hasbro, and this Old Man Logan is a great example of the good work that they've been doing with it. Number 7 goes to Old Man Logan, a highly recommended figure of mine and one of my favorite figures of 2017. The number 6 spot on my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2017 goes to Ares, way in the back over there in front of Hulk. Ares was the much anticipated, much requested reissue of the Build-A-Figure that came out back in the dark ages of Hasbro when they were making horrible Legends, in my opinion. We finally got Ares back, and he is a regular release. This is pretty much just a reissue, a repaint, nothing more. He even comes apart like the original Build-A-Figure. That goes to show it's exactly the same. This was a great opportunity for collectors to get Ares, because the Ares Build-A-Figure was over $100 before this ever existed. I think, in my opinion, Hasbro really improved on this version. They fixed the skin tone problem that the Build-A-Figure had, and this has more detail. I like the black on his torso, and even the blue on his face has grown on me. I actually really didn't like it at first. He comes packed with a big axe and a sword and a Bowie knife on the side right there. If you're a Marvel Legends collector, we all know how difficult it was to hunt this guy down, but thankfully Hasbro's been keeping up with the distribution, and he is very easy to get now. I've seen him many times in stores. But I do urge you, if you do see him in stores, do pick him up, because who knows, he might be hard to find later on. Alright guys, so moving on down to number 5 on my top 10 Marvel Legend, I'm going to give it to Angela. This figure, I believe, is one of Hasbro's best sculpted female figures in a while, especially for the hair and the head sculpt right there. We still are missing double jointed elbows, we're still missing bicep swivel, we're still missing ab crunch. For female body mold, that's just something that you just don't want to give us, apparently. That probably would have made this figure go down to my top 3 if it had all those. But nonetheless, this figure is beautifully sculpted and has very nice amount of articulation for what it is. We do have 2 axes and a sword, and this figure did come at a surprise for me, as I had no idea who she was, and I wasn't really anticipating this figure at all. If you would have asked me back before this got released if this was going to make my top 10 list, I probably would have said no. Alright, moving forward, we're going to number 4. My number 4 on my list would have to be the X-Force Deadpool, the HasCon exclusive. As hard as it was to get your hands on one of these, it seems like Hasbro is going to be releasing this as a regular release in the upcoming Deadpool wave. Now, if it's going to be the same figure or not exactly the same, that we don't know yet until it's released. A much needed update and upgrade to our previous X-Force Deadpool. If I were to put this Bucky Cat mold Daredevil here, you can see even the legs are exactly the same. Everything's the same, it's just the paint that's different. Of course, this Deadpool does come with his magazines on his leg right there. We have a little water gun, a Bowie knife, and 2 katanas on his back. As simple as this repaint is, it makes for the best X-Force Deadpool to date right now, totally beating the original Hasbro X-Force Deadpool from the Return of Marvel Legends. This X-Force Deadpool is well deserving of the number 4 spot, as it comes with all the articulation that you would want in a Marvel Legend, including that awesome shin swivel that I love so much. That being said, I hope you guys didn't spend over $100 for this guy. Seems like we're gonna get a regular release of him. It's better than not having him. So if you're a Deadpool fan and you want to build your X-Force together with an updated Deadpool, this is definitely a figure you gotta get. Alright guys, we have now arrived to our top 3 figures of 2017, and the remaining figures are Cyclops, Iron Man, and the 12-inch series Hulk. That being said, without further ado, number 3 on my list goes to the 12-inch series Marvel Legends Incredible Hulk in the very back. And for the sake of video, I'm not going to grab him and put him up front. I'm just going to leave him back there. He is just too massive. Now don't get me wrong, I actually debated on whether or not I should include this massive figure into my Marvel Legends top 10 list. And I figured, why not? It's a Marvel Legend. I figured it wasn't that big of a deal to include a figure from a separate Marvel Legend line in my top 10 of Marvel Legends. You know, it is my top 10 list after all. This 12-inch series Hulk actually clocks in at a whopping 14.5 inches tall. He is very heavy as well. Comes with a box the size of 2 12-inch figures. If you were to hold one in hand, you would see what I mean. The retail of this guy is actually $80, $20 more than your regular 12-inch figure. Luckily for me, I waited and I managed to get this guy for $35, a steal in my opinion for the amount of plastic that you get in this size. He does come with 2 sets of hands. You got the open hands and the fisted hands. 2 sets of heads. One is a modern look with a closed mouth, and one is a classic look with the open mouth, as you see right there. And he is chock full of articulation. All the articulation that you would ever want in a regular 6-inch Marvel Legend is included in this massive Incredible Hulk. Sadly, this Hulk is way too big to scale in with the 6-inch figures, so that will not make for a good display. But nonetheless, if you're collecting the 12-inch line, this is a great addition. Fun fact, this actually got me into the 12 inches. I actually did not care for the 12-inch line at all until this Hulk came out, and the Wolverine is coming up too. Those are incredible figures. They seem to be getting better and better with each release. Can't go wrong on this incredible figure, pun intended. Alright guys, so we're down to our last 2. My number 2 spot will have to go to the Invincible Iron Man from the Black Panther Okoye Build-A-Figure wave. This Iron Man is absolutely one of the best I've seen from Hasbro. I heard it from a lot of people before I got it in hand, those exact words, and when I got it in hand I could see why. This Iron Man is probably one of the best scaled Iron Mans out there, as a good decent height to him. I think he is probably the most accurate height or scale that they've done for Iron Man. He's pretty much the tallest Iron Man that we've seen, as he should be. It literally looks like there is a man inside that armor, which it should. He comes with an incredible alternate Tony Stark head, which looks really nice. It's all new sculpt, and it's in between a young and a old Tony Stark, so that came out pretty nice and clean. Comes with those repulsor blast effects and some alternate hands. You really can't go wrong if you're an Iron Man fan. This is a must-have. The only thing I really would have liked is if they would have added some kind of shading or paint to the red. They just went with a plastic red, but even so, it came out really nice. The red that they chose is a nice dark red that goes very well. The paint overall is clean on this figure. The blue on his hand, on his chest, and his eyes are as clean as can be, and the articulation is as you would expect. This figure right here is a true Iron Man Marvel Legend. Alright, so there's no hiding what my number 1 spot is, but let's run through our top 10 one more time before my number 1 Marvel Legend is officially announced. Number 10 went to the Spider-Man 2099 suit. Number 9 went to the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure. Number 8 went to Submariner or Submariner, whichever way you would like to call it. Number 7 went to Old Man Logan. Number 6 went to Ares. Number 5 went to Angela. Number 4 went to the X-Force Hascon exclusive Deadpool. Number 3 went to the Incredible Hulk from the 12-inch Marvel Legends line. Number 2 was won by the Invincible Iron Man from the Black Panther Okoye Build-A-Figure wave. And number 1 goes to the one and only Jim Lee Cyclops Marvel Legend figure from the Warlock Build-A-Figure wave. This figure is the much needed, much anticipated, much requested upgrade remake of the Jim Lee Cyclops figure. We got one many years ago by Toy Biz, and it was only a matter of time that Hasbro made their own. And Hasbro really knocked it out of the ballpark. As simple as it is, it's the Bucky Cat mold once again. It truly is one of their best molds, as it's produced some of their best figures. This figure's paint is spot on. Despite most people's complaints of his harness having a darker orange color than the yellow on the rest of the figure, it really doesn't bother me as much as it does others. Articulation is as beautiful as can be, as this is the Bucky Cat mold, and his face sculpt can't get any better than that. My only complaint about the figure is everyone's complaint about the figure. The loose thigh bands, leg bands, and wristbands are an issue. Not so much on the wrist, but the legs, they do fall all over the place. A lot of people glued them on. I did not. I just positioned them well enough to the point where they stay. If I articulate them too much, they will fall off annoyingly. But when it comes to 2017 Marvel Legends, if you were to ask any collectors what were their most sought after figure of the year, along with Angela and Ares, Cyclops will be most people's #1 most sought after figure of the year, and rightfully so. With that said, that concludes my top 10 Marvel Legend action figures of 2017, with Jim Lee's Cyclops taking the throne at #1. I hope you guys enjoyed my Marvel Legends top 10 action figures of 2017, something I did differently this year, and hopefully I can do every year from now on. Make sure you guys give me some feedback by hitting the like button and giving me a comment down below. It's much appreciated, and I always try to reply to all the comments I can. Hit the bell button down below to get notified of all the new videos I will upload this year. This is erivera94 wishing you a happy new year, happy collecting, and a great day. Bye.
That's crispy.